Hi folks, Greeno here, and where am I today? Well, you might be able to hear from the seagulls in the background. I'm somewhere near a sea, not that close though. They've obviously decided to follow me from all the way down here from Dorset. I'm actually in Exeter today, down in South Devon, and I'm outside a place, you can just see the sign for it here, called Colson's. Now, why am I here? Well, recently I've reviewed a couple of places that have had terrible Google reviews, haven't I? I did the Brewers Fair down in Weymouth and the Great British Fish and Chips up in London. This place has a worse Google review than either of those places. Worse than Brewers Fair, good Lord above. It scores 2.9 out of 5. Now, if you have a look on Google and look at restaurant reviews, the vast majority are 4+. A lot of them are 4.5+. It's pretty rare to find places that are under 4, to be honest with you. This scores a 2.9. I don't think I've seen anyone that starts with a 2 before. So I'm a little bit concerned. Now, what I will say is it does have some good reviews too. Some people give it a 5-star, lots give it 1 star, and there's various reasons for that. Slow service, some people have been charged double on their cards. Yeah, could be a bit of a problem, couldn't it? Anyway, we're going to give it a try and see what we think. Give it the old Greeno critical eye. As you can see, it's raining, so let's get inside before I get too wet. Come on. Okay then folks, so I've come in and I've been seated. Basically this place is inside or part of a hotel called the Hotel Indigo here in Exeter. I've got to say, I don't think the people who are complaining about this place can have any complaints about the decor of it. It's really, really nicely designed. There's lots of different seating areas, some plush kind of looking sofas. The walls are decorated nicely. It looks pretty plush in here, so that's nice. I like that a lot. I did have to wait for a couple of minutes at the front desk to be seated. The staff there were a little bit busy buzzing around doing other things. So as I was sat, that's what I'd like to drink. I've got myself a sparkling water, which has been brought over fairly promptly. So we've brought over quite a smart looking menu here, nicely printed up as well, basically outlining all the different starters they got available here. There's some sandwiches too, a bunch of different mains, steaks are on here too. Not the cheapest looking menu in the world, I will say. I'm a little bit conscious they're still actually setting up for lunch service. I'm here 12:25 and the tables aren't quite set, so there's staff buzzing around. I don't want to say too much in front of them in case there's anything critical to say, but so far not. So I think I'm probably going to go for a starter and a main course. I'm not sure about dessert today. Got to watch those calories a little bit. I've had too many sticky toffee puddings, as people have been noticing in the comments. Okay folks, so I have put my order in. Oh look, looks like I've got a little halo, doesn't it? Very angelic. Order's gone into the kitchen. I've gone for the white crab starter. That comes with mango, chorizo, lemon, creme fraiche, chives and a sourdough crostini. Quite an interesting mix of textures and flavours in that, I think. Mango and chorizo, not necessarily something you'd think of putting together, especially with creme fraiche. We will see though. For my main, I've gone for the pan-fried corn-fed chicken. That's with a bacon herb mash, tarragon cream sauce, tender stem broccoli and carrots. So fairly simple veg with it, but I like the sound of the bacon and herb mash. That should be interesting. And a tarragon sauce with chicken. Yes, please. So the white crab starter, £12.95. Sounds a lot for a starter, I suppose, but crab's always expensive, isn't it? The chicken main is £22.95. Again, a little bit punchy sounding, but we'll see how it is. Let's say, so far, I'm not seeing a lot that tells me why this is supposed to be the worst place in Exeter. I really don't. The decor's nice, the staff friendly enough. You know, perhaps not the most professional service I've ever seen, seeing as they were still setting up the restaurant and kept me waiting at the desk a little bit as I came in. But nothing major to complain about so far. Okay guys, so my starter has arrived. And it's a very pretty looking plate of food, it has to be said. We've got a creme fraiche on the top there, we've got the mango dressing, A little bit of rocket around the sides here, some kind of like herb oil around it, and these two very nice, very thin looking little croûtes here to kind of put the crab onto, I suppose. I'm just going to try the crab by itself first if we can. There we are, without any of the other dressings or anything on it. Ooh. It's got a pretty good flavour, it has to be said. Crab can be quite delicate, but they've put quite a lot of seasoning in there. But it's seasoning that complements the crab and kind of brings that flavour alive a little bit more. I don't mind that. Let's try it with a little bit of this creme fraiche and the mango dressing. Let's say I think that's a bit of a slightly strange combination. I'm not entirely sure that works. The other thing that's a little bit strange is you've got this very delicate shredded crab, which see if I can bring it up closer to you so you can actually see it here on the camera. So that's delicately shredded up, but the chorizo's within there. I kind of thought it might be scattered around the plate a bit. You're eating the crab and you're getting that very delicate mouthfeel from it, and then you just chomp onto a lump of hard chorizo. It's not unpleasant. I'm just not convinced it works as a combination particularly well. The creme fraiche, creamy, but with a sharpness. The mango dressing here, just exceptionally sweet. Not sure about this little herby oil around the outside. Can't quite work out what that is. More for decoration than anything else, I think. But let's get a little bit of everything and put it onto the little toast. We'll get some of the salad on there with a little bit of that dressing on too. There we go, a little bit of everything on there. It is a very crispy and well-made croûte, it has to be said. But putting it on top of here, because the crab is quite a delicate flavour, that's the one thing you lose fastest. So the toast has got quite a strong toasted bread flavour, almost like a sesame flavour in there somewhere. Because you've got the sourness of that creme fraiche, the sweetness from the mango, the crab kind of gets lost a little bit. One little interesting thing to note, the waitress will come around to do a check back, and she checked back onto another table. They're having an afternoon tea kind of thing. And I overheard them mention that some of the items are frozen. That's not great, is it? If you're in a smart-looking place having an afternoon tea, you kind of expect things to either be made on site or by a local bakery or whatever, not to be kind of frozen and defrosted. Yeah, that's indicative of a bit of a problem, isn't it? Almost finished the starter now, and what I found making my way through it, it actually works a lot better removing the creme fraiche from it. Then you're getting the flavour a little bit coming through from that chorizo, the mango, and just the crab. The creme fraiche, I think, was what was kind of washing things away. It's better without it. Right then, folks, main course has arrived. Gotta say, a few little concerns. Let's come in and have a closer look. So we've got the chicken here. Gotta say, not the biggest portion. Looks more like a chicken tender than a chicken breast. Got 3 little carrots down here. Now again, if you pick them up, still got the tops on them, but they don't look like they've been cleaned particularly well. The broccoli, again, looks like it's kind of seen some better days. Starting to yellow a little bit around on the little kind of floury bits, so that doesn't look the freshest. The bacon mash looks interesting, but the sauce kind of looks a bit like it's, I don't know, almost a bit congealed in places and not really been delicately put on the plate or whatever, just kind of splashed everywhere and everything else plonked on top of it. So, and overall, visually, not the most appealing, but we'll give it a fair crack. Slight problem. I started reviewing all of this and realised I didn't have the camera turned on. What a silly, silly man. So, I'm going to run through it very, very quickly. I started with the carrots, which, as I mentioned originally, I was a little bit concerned about how clean they were. Now, I'm concerned about how cooked they are. Almost raw in the middle. Not well done at all. The broccoli, I'm going to go back in for it again now. I don't really want to. You'll see when I did a little bit of talking rather than a bit of B-roll. It didn't take long at all. Broccoli, stone cold. Really disappointing. Kind of watery. And just unpleasant. And it's a real shame that these veggie elements are just wrong. The mash here. Bacon mash. And the mash itself is quite nicely made. There's not a huge amount of bacon flavour to it. And what they've done, or what it appears they've done anyway, if you take a closer look at this, right, you can see there little flecks of brown in there. So what they kind of almost like blitzed up some cooked bacon. But there's not enough of it to give a pronounced bacon flavour. They've made the bacon really crispy and then blitzed it, so it's almost like sort of powdery. But it just kind of makes it feel almost like sandy in the mash. Chicken, now I haven't actually started on the chicken yet, so I'd only got that far in the review when I realised the camera wasn't on. So let's have a little look at this chicken skin. Now, as I said to you at the start, it's a bit kind of flabby looking. You see? That is not crispy chicken skin, is it? Got the merest hint of crisp to the outside of it, but not really. Not really. I'm going to cut right down the middle of the chicken here. I'm going to see how it's cooked inside. Now, in fairness, that looks alright to me. Looks nice and moist, nice and juicy. It's corn-fed, apparently, so it should have a good flavour to it. Let's try it. That is the best thing on the plate. The chicken is actually tender, nicely cooked. Just a shame they haven't crisped that skin up. We get the tarragon sauce on there now. Tarragon, I think, goes beautifully with chicken, which is why I was kind of excited to choose this. Yeah, it's not the best sauce. There is plenty of tarragon in there, but it does feel kind of just like a tarragon cream. There doesn't seem to be like a depth in there from adding some chicken stock or seasoning, anything like that. And the other thing, the plate wasn't warm when it came out, really. When you've got something like this, where you've got a sauce splashed all over the plate, you really need a hot plate, don't you? Because otherwise the sauce just goes cold immediately. Real mixed bag, this plate. Real mixed bag. First kind of proper issue with the service. The waitress who's been serving me has been very, very pleasant up to now. Came over to do the check back, as you would expect them to do. Asked me how everything was. I told them, broccoli, stone cold. And she went, oh, okay, and walked off. No comment beyond that. Nothing to sort of say she's going to let the chef know or offer a replacement or anything like that. Just, oh, okay. I think we're heading downhill. I'm going to get out of here before dessert. Otherwise, we don't know where we're going to end up, do we? Yeah, that's a real shame. So I've got the receipt here. The chicken at $22.95, sparkling water $2.95. The crab was $10.95. Now it actually says $12.95 for that on the menu. There is a service charge of £4.61, which I'm guessing is 12.5%. It doesn't actually specify that, but I think that's about right with the maths. I'll double check. So yeah, total of £41.46. Let's go outside and discuss it all, shall we? Right then, folks, so I've come outside into the drizzly winter weather. And I come around the corner by the Exeter Cathedral there. Look at that. What a beautiful building. Lovely. Shame it's raining. So, let's sum this up. Colson's inside the Hotel Indigo there. Bit of a mixed bag, isn't it, I think? Now, when I got in there, I've got to say, I was impressed initially by the aesthetic of the place. Very nicely decorated, very nice furnishings, tables not too close together. It had a vibe of something a little bit luxurious, it really did. And I like that, It was clean, it was tidy. The tables weren't all set for lunch service though, and it was about 12:30, so they were 30 minutes in and still converting the restaurant from breakfast to lunch, which is a little bit of a slip, I think, in services. Got in, sat down, all perfectly pleasant, brought over my mineral water, and no real delays in ordering or anything like that others have mentioned on the Google reviews. That was all fine. In fact, in terms of the delivery of the food, it was fine. I mean, we're now 1:45, so I was in there for about an hour and 15 minutes. I think that's fine to have 2 courses, you know, not rushed, but I didn't feel like I was having to wait too long. The food itself, the starter was nice enough, just didn't quite work as a complete combination for me. Creme fraiche and crab and mango and chorizo is a bit of an odd mixture, isn't it? It just didn't quite gel. But it was nice enough. The croûte things, the little bready croûte toast things were blooming delicious, mind. The main course though, I mean, that's where things started to go wrong, isn't it? The veg, not properly cooked. The broccoli, stone cold. It was very similar to the one I had with the Gordon Ramsay beef Wellington that was stone cold. Not because I'm too busy yapping. It was not warm when it came out of the kitchen. It was on a cold plate. The plate was not heated. So that did for the broccoli, did for the sauce too. Real shame. The chicken inside, nice and moist, skin not crispy, bit flabby. And the mash, I'm not quite sure what the concept of that was. I mean, it sounds good, doesn't it? A bacon and herb mash. Didn't pick up any herb in there. Barely picked up any bacon, if I'm honest. And all that did was give it a slightly gritty texture, because it obviously just blitzed up the bacon. Yeah, didn't work at all for me, that. And at £23, I think that dish was. Too much money for something that really isn't adequate. So it's a bit interesting for me, this, because the Google reviews that I've read are mainly critical of the service and how long it takes for food to come out, and I didn't have any problem with them at all. The food, generally, is reviewed reasonably well, and that's the bit where I've got a problem. So, where am I going to score it? It's a tricky one, because there are some things I really like the decor, but the food was a letdown. And when you come out for a meal, food's probably the most important thing, isn't it? So, I think go right down the middle. I think a 2.5 out of 5, I think is fair. It is fair. Would I come back here again? Probably not, if I'm honest, because I know there are going to be plenty of places in this fine city of Exeter where you can actually eat better and the service will be just as good. So, no, I wouldn't come back. Does that mean it's a red light, though? I don't think it quite is. I don't think so. I think there are enough redeeming things there to kind of just get it into an amber light. But it's definitely not a green light. No chance. Right, well, let's end on a positive for these guys. They've got a better score than the 2 others I've reviewed that had bad Google reviews. The Lodmore Brewers Fair in Weymouth and the Great British Fish and Chips in London. They've scored better than those, so that's a positive, isn't it? Not too many others, apart from nice interior design, but it is what it is. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, well, I've come down to Exeter and I've reviewed Colson's here in the Hotel Indigo, just round the corner from the cathedral. I mean, it's literally 50 yards away from me, the restaurant here. Beautiful location. Don't forget, click a thumbs up on there for me, it does help the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, take a little look around the vault, see what else you like. Bound to be something else, hopefully. And if you do, why not consider subscribing? Ding your bell for notifications, all that good stuff. You know us YouTubers love all that sort of thing, don't you? Right, anyway, where to next? Somewhere dry. I'll catch you next time, folks.